And we are live. Welcome, folks, to, well, it's officially session 7. If, however, you're counting the last session as two separate ones, even though it was just part A and part B, you might consider this session 8. I don't, which is why I've got the last one labeled 6A and 6B. As we left our fabulous heroes last time, they were going through the trials in Avalon. They had went through quite a few little feats, and they had found themselves up against a ghostly knight with a great sword. And finally, they destroyed the sword, dissipating the ghostly knight back into the nothingness. And if you are watching, Stevie, yes, I found your comment highly entertaining. And we're going to pick it up right from that point. And I'm just going to go left to right as I see my players for introductions. So, Jason, take it away.
It is I, Dr. Logan Mortimer Tiberius, PhD, and after all the ordeals he's been through, he probably has way more qualifications he wants to add to his name. But he's still live and kicking and exploding things.
Superb. Becky.
Now, some people have been saying that I'm nothing but a shallow Australian stereotype, and I'd just like to point out that apart from murder, Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Aero, I haven't committed a single crime this entire game.
Phil, please.
Okay, Jake Cutter here, ex-pilot, and he's thinking he's just about going to get away without giving Sheila's Mauser back.
Priorities.
Priorities. Right, so we're going to pick it up. You've just destroyed the great sword, and the ghostly knight has disappeared back to, how to use that well-worn cliche line, from whence he came. And there is a door ahead of you. Well, there's a door behind you, which is the door you came in, and a door ahead of you.
Guess we better go through the door.
Better check it
out. Give me a minute to catch my breath.
Oh, that's more than a minute.
Oh, boy. We have, I think, some connection issues down where pair of geeks are.
Quite possibly. It's been very stormy.
Back again.
Back again. You froze.
Well, I could hear you all perfectly fine, except I lost your video there for a moment.
We lost you.
As well.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I got the edge nick of time, so I'm right back just as you're resuming. Now get on with it. Hurry up, my accent's quickly turning Cockney.
I was about to say we've got the first, probably the first Cornish Australian.
Longer this session goes on, the worse my accent gets. So come on with it.
Are you going through the door?
Yes.
Well, other options available are 0.
Are you opening it first?
Oh.
Sorry.
Try it anyway, see if it is unlocked.
Sorry.
Is it another like wood oak door?
Yes, it is.
Heavy and yeah.
Yes.
Same as the others.
Mm-hmm. It's been quite consistent.
Yeah. Try and open that one.
Okay, door opens. No, I was more thinking of going through the door without opening it would have been slightly more. But, taking a bit more effort. You enter into a large courtyard. There are pillars surrounding a small green area where you can see the remains of dead people in the center, as if a great battle or a battle had once happened here. You can see about, well, more a skirmish. You can see, it looks maybe 10, maybe a dozen figures. Their flesh has long since eroded.
And these are all around a pillar in the middle of the room, a courtyard, are they?
No, the pillars are all around them.
Right.
They're in a green in the center of the courtyard.
Ah, I see.
And there are pillars. There's 4 pillars round about.
Grenade would be useful right now because I don't trust those skeletons one bit.
What are they sort of wearing? Is it?
It's
clothes
looking
or-
very. I mean, it's looking very much sort of rags of medieval dress. Somewhat helpful for the fact that they're starting to rise now.
And is there a
Getting
door opposite, by the way?
Yes,
Okay, and they're beginning to stand up.
they're beginning to stand up.
All right, can we have initiative? Because I want to see if I shoot before the professor lobs a grenade.
Jason 10. Yes, you do get to shoot.
Only just.
Only just. Phil, Joker.
Oh,
Oh, interesting. And they are starting to move quite effectively towards you. Right, Phil. First question: when during the round do you want to act?
I'll act third.
Okay, so is that third including the NPCs or third just after Jason and Becky have
After
done
Jason and
theirs?
Becky.
Okay, so the next person to go is me. Because, someone had to. And they are moving towards you. They will attack, but they're going to be at -2. Because, Actually, Jason, what is your parry?
my parry is 2.
Ouchie and ouchie. Becky, what's your parry?
My parry's 8.
Yeah. Phil?
7.
7?
Yep.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Two of the skeletons attack each. You just get 2 skeletons on you. Becky, you have been attacked and no one's hit you. Phil, one of them has. And Jason, both of them have.
Of course. Looks like I'm spending. Well, it would be a penny each, wouldn't it?
Well, let's. What's your toughness?
This is 8.
8. Okay, you are shaken for the first wound.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can do one of 2 things at this point. You can spend a penny right now to come off shaken straight away.
Yeah.
And that way you can act. Remember, you are back up to 3 pennies each.
Yeah.
Total 9.
Yeah, no, I'll spend a penny.
And the second one is slightly more worrying. What's your toughness again?
It was 8.
8. That's a wound. And you spend a penny, make a suck roll.
Oh, that's 2 bennies gone already. But yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, figure check for me, please.
What's the roll again?
It's a figure check.
Figure, yep. That's what I thought.
Yeah, you will get first strike.
Oh. That is 23. I got 2 aces on a D8.
Yeah, you're not wounded.
Definitely not.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to be really generous, as this may very well be the last session. Seeing how that was an incredibly good vigor check, you can have a penny back for that.
Oh, thank you.
What can I say? I'm a nice guy, really. Right. Becky, first strike. Well, you've got first strike before they make a move anyway. I mean,
So first strike's an extra action, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a slashing with the scimitar as we get close thing.
Yeah, I keep forgetting you've got first strike. You should have had that before any of them attack. But
yeah, no, that's fine. So I roll an 8.
That's a hit with a raise.
Okay.
Double checking.
You get that dice.
No, it's just a hit.
Okay.
All right, I thought it was parry forward.
You still roll a d6 with your damage dice, don't you? I'm trying to remember how damage works with melee. It's not often I roll it.
It's your what's your
It's just the straight dice. The 6 is only for the bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you raise it. Okay, no, I've got it. Okay. That would be a 9.
Okay. That's one shaken. Right, you have your attack now.
Now I've got my attack. Now what I'd like to do is multi-action. So I'm going to put 3 shots into 3 of them, and then I'm going to scimitar the fuck out of one of them.
Okay. Right, the first question being, is the one you've just shaken going to be one of the ones you're going to be...
He's going to get a bullet.
Is he going to get the bullet? Right, okay.
Okay.
Roll your shooting, please.
Oh, that's not bad. So that's a 10, an 8, and definitely a miss.
What about your wild die?
Yeah, I counted that.
Oh, gold. Right, it's 2 hits with raises.
Just reminding myself that I got it. Right, 2 hits with raises. More dice, please. There we go. Oh.
So your first hit.
14.
Yeah, that's that one drops.
Okay, next one is 12.
Never drops.
All right. The next bullet missed, but then multi-action, some scimitar waving fun.
Okay, you're going some scimitar action.
So this is at -2, yeah? Oh, shit, no, I've got +1 because I've got trademark weapons, so I did actually get a 4 with my 3rd bullet.
Then that will be a hit.
Okay, so that's just not a raise. Right. That gets me 7 damage on that one.
Yeah, that's in fact, as we haven't said either way, I'm going to roll a d6. If I roll odds, it's another one that you hit. If it's evens, then it's the one you've already shaken, in which case it'll drop. It was another one.
Okay.
So you shot 2 and you now have 1 shaken. So
okay. And then my multi-action. Now multi-action is a -2.
Yeah. Do you have two-fisted?
What I've got is I've got ambidextrous, so I could use my other hand, but I don't get I don't get it.
Two-fisted. Okay, -2.
Yeah. Okay. That's an 8.
In total?
Yeah.
Right. That's a hit.
All right then.
Are you hitting the one you've just shaken?
Nearest one, because this is a scimitar.
Yeah. Okay.
So whichever one that is to your mind. I'm just putting bullets and swords everywhere. hoping shit starts falling over. That's a 10.
Yeah, that'll be enough.
So how many did I make fall over?
3 altogether.
Well, not bad.
4, actually.
Ah, sweet.
3, 4.
Beat that, Captain.
Jason.
Okay, yep. So I'm going to sort of laugh a little bit at Sheila and say, a scimitar with skeletons? No, you want to blow them up into little bones. So I take one of my homemade grenades and chuck it.
Okay. Let's have a throwing roll. Are you throwing them right into the center of it all?
Yeah, as to try and cover as many as possible, and presumably they're all kind of moving en masse.
Yeah.
That is a 3.
Hey! That would be yeah, your threshold's a 4, so you have failed to throw it properly. Unless you're spending a penny for a reroll.
Could do.
Or if someone's going to give you a penny for a reroll, because at the moment Logan is dropping his grenade right at your feet.
Spend a penny. That's better. That's a 5.
Okay, that's a throw. Roll the damage, please.
All right. What is I gonna? Yes.
Just bear in mind that Becky's going to be pretty much in this blast radius and all, because she's right in among them.
She'll be fine. Her Australian courage. Okay, so 11 damage.
You know how the nick of time lets me get to the professor just at the right moment? Can it also get me away from him?
Yes, I will allow for that.
I'm only joking. Well, I think I've pretty much used all my action economy this round.
Okay.
What'd you roll?
11 damage.
Okay. Right. Your toughness is 10. What's your toughness, Becky?
7.
You've got a wound.
No, I'm going to Benny that and make a soak roll, because flipping lunatic around here.
Okay, if I could check, please.
Don't actually have that much vigor. I'm all about the damage output. You know that, right? That'll be a 5.
That's enough.
Sweet.
That keeps you going.
Cheeky little fucker,
basically, that 11 is applied to all within the radius. So basically, essentially, Phil, you're now looking at bits of bone flying everywhere.
Oh, shrapnel.
Basically bone shrapnel going all sides. There are no upright skeletons left. You basically blew them all to kingdom hell with that one grenade.
But it was for the greater good.
The greater good.
Careful there, Professor. You almost blew me down to me underwear.
Well, you have your Australian toughness. You're all tanned from the sun.
I'm tanned from the bloody explosion.
Bit too close there, was it?
Get some vitamin D.
At which point...
I am joking.
I don't know what a minimum fit is.
At that point, the door on the far side opens, and 3 ladies, dressed in similar robes that Nimue had worn, enter the courtyard.
All right, Sheila's.
Oh, I hope they don't say that we've just killed their relatives again.
They approach you and bow. We thought this final test would prove thy mettle. We were unaware that you had such artillery within such easy distance.
Well, I do make them myself. Patent
we-
pending.
We have not seen such power since the time of Merlin.
He's a very clever man, that one.
It could be
And I
Merlin.
like shooting things.
It could be Merlin come back.
You have shown yourselves to be people who are not driven by vanity, as displayed by your willingness to look away from your image in the Hall of Mirrors. You have shown yourself unfettered by greed, as you were not tempted by the great banquet in the table. You are resourceful, quick-witted. The enchanted sword gave you a momentary pause, but you rose to the challenge. We thought that this final challenge would prove thy courage, but you have shown once more your sly ingenuity. But one question still remains.
I know. What the hell does witted mean?
Carry on.
They sort of look at each other to say, are we sure? Are we really sure? This is the best we've had in 800 years? Honestly?
She's come a long way to be here.
And still a long way to go. No. You seek the sword of power. What will you do with that power?
To be honest, we don't really seek it. There's some bad guys that are on their way to get it, and we just wanted to make sure they couldn't get it.
We can use such mystical enchantments to ensure our island is never discovered, but I'm afraid sooner or later nefarious forces are bound to make their way here, and perhaps they will match you for your tenacity and ingenuity and plain stubbornness.
Well, to be fair, they haven't been much of a match so far.
Indeed. You are the first person to step upon these shores in many centuries. But the sword of power is almost before you. What will you do with that power? What are your intentions? You must speak as one voice.
We agreed before we came in that we didn't intend to use it. We wanted to hide it.
Does your companion speak for you all in this?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't really know what its power is, so we were just trying to keep it away from the really bad Nazis.
The sword of power. when held aloft, can command anyone, any Briton, to follow you.
How does that work with the colonies?
I do not know this word colonies. Are you saying that you are a Briton who has went to places overseas?
My forefathers
Or-
did, yeah.
Ah,
And my two mothers. That's a joke, by the way.
I actually had a stopwatch ready for that one. I was like, how soon is the forefathers joke going to come up? More importantly, is Becky going to beat me to it? Which you did. So I was actually sitting there looking for a place to work it in. I am not sure. It is a most interesting proposition. Perhaps we shall test it. At that point, the sort of priestess, for want of a word, in the middle, holds out her hands in front of her, and a sword, a beautiful, elegant sword, appears in her hands. She raises it above her and says, I command thee all, kneel. I'd like all of you, please, to make spirit checks.
Okay. Seems legit.
8.
Oh, I am totally
Ooh,
as British as they come. I got snake eyes.
Okay, so right. So Becky and Phil, you feel the call. You can feel your body wanting to kneel. But you sort of go, no, I want to, but on my terms. But you can feel the call. Tiberius, you're not only down on your knees, you're pretty much going into full we are not worthy mode.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's no getting around Snake Eyes roll.
Well, he is British, so makes sense.
We're not worthy. It would appear that you are quite strong-willed. But you can feel its power nonetheless.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'm probably only half English or British, Brittonish, whichever the word was you used.
To be honest, if you'd really rolled high on that one, not only would you have probably gotten a penny back, you probably would have wouldn't even have felt the call. You know, you're just looking at a woman doing her best to do a She-Ra impersonation. But this is the blade, the sword of kings. With such a weapon, with the power that it holds, it could command wide swathes of your land under whichever banner held the sword, be they for good or ill. It must be stated that those who already feel the pull of a leader's call are more easily susceptible. or as the GM puts it in simpler terms, if the Nazis used this on Winston Churchill, they'd be told where to go. If they used it on Oswald Mosley, he'd be like, "Yeah, let's do it," because he's already of that mindset anyway. Would you have this power in your world? Do you wish it?
My neck is hurting.
I don't know, Cap. I mean,
You me rise.
Oh, thank God. My back. My sore back.
I don't know,
I
Professor.
don't know. I mean,
Do you think the Nazis can get through all these trials? I strongly suspect they could quite easily, but do you think they can find the island? Did we hide it well enough?
It's not about the Nazis. It's about their leader. That was the whole reason why that Englishman was trying to find it before us. He could get through here. Fortunately, he's dead, but they'll send somebody else.
That's true.
but what are we going to do with it if we take the sword? Does it mean we're running the war then?
Does it mean what, sorry?
We're going to run the war.
No.
Run the war?
What do you mean,
Good
John?
grief.
Exactly.
Nah, well, hide it somewhere where it will never be found again.
We need to destroy it.
Better not tell them that.
Eh, maybe, you know. But hide it somewhere completely bloody obvious and nobody will look for it.
Sword collection in the British Historical Museum.
Yeah, some shit like that. Halfway up Nelson's column or some crap. Only this time we won't be,
Halfway up Nelson's columns, crack.
you know, or something like that. It's not actually what I said, but if you want to interpret it that way, that's fine. The key thing is, what we'll do differently to what the last lot do, is we won't write it bloody down, will we?
Well, that's probably the best thing, yes.
Thing is, if we hide it, it can be found again.
Well, look, I'm open to destroying it if we can. I mean, it seems to be some kind of special artifact.
What about chopping off that sword and the Statue of Justice on top of the Old Bailey and stick it up there? Is that
Yeah, that'd do it.
enough full view for everybody? Yeah, well, we're going to have to just drop off the boat on the way back to Wales.
We could throw it into a volcano.
Yeah.
Melt it back down, I suppose.
Are you talking about a long quest note to throw a magical object into a volcano?
Yes.
You know that when you do that, I'm gonna have this little side that says there's some guy called John Tolkien who's just walking along. He's like, that's the bit I need for my novel.
Because generally, when I first thought of that, I didn't think of Lord of the Rings. I'm like, oh wait, never mind. I was generally thinking somewhere, on the, like in Africa somewhere.
The nearest volcano is
Fire.
Italy.
Yeah, or Italy. Actually, that's much closer.
But it's full of fascists, so surely will be happy.
I don't think we should take it anywhere near Italy. Let's do one of the American ones.
Yes. On the Pacific.
Yeah. But that's a bit near the Japanese. They're not too bright either.
Well, would we know that the Japanese were gonna do stuff at this stage, to be fair?
No, No.
No.
No, they're
If
being
no other-
imperialist
if no
in
other
China
reason-
and shit.
If there's no other reason, the attack on Pearl Harbor came completely out of nowhere.
And not particularly. I mean, the act of war, yeah, but they're being all imperialist out in Asia, and they're fighting China and shit at the minute. Manchuria and all that lot.
Yeah, but
Yeah, as long as we don't get too close to the Japanese.
Was Java under British control back then? There's volcanoes there, aren't there?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Everyone's quickly Googling.
I don't know. Seems like a branded coffee to me. Basically, Sheila's, it's our view that this thing's too powerful to be left in the world.
Yes, and you're not really hiding it away from anybody.
The fruit here's kind of written down and stuff. I mean, we tried to destroy all records, but we don't know how much the bad people in this world have managed to uncover.
They
What we
do, have
really want to do is kind of get rid of it.
they do have a nasty way of just showing up.
Then you wish to destroy this great weapon.
I think it's for the best. Now, if you've got a magical gun, then we can talk.
I think the prof can make you a magical gun.
He probably
Yes.
could do something similar, actually.
Yes, I could.
Yeah, tell me now.
Has the world really grown so dark?
There's certainly a shadow around.
With this sword in the wrong hands, it could take Britain down a very dark route.
One of the priestesses comes over and takes you, Logan, and holds your hands. Her eyes sort of roll back so they're completely white. And she begins to sort of judder. She lets go and walks back and says, "It is a darkness. Even the time of Morgana could never have seen such a darkness. They are right. Excalibur in the wrong hands would doom our nation, turn it into everything Arthur would have despised. We must destroy it."
Right, glad you're seeing sense. What's the best way to destroy it?
Whilst it has mystical properties, it is still a blade of metal. A hot furnace?
Yeah, Prof, you got any of that acid thingy stuff you do?
Well, I had thought I'd let it dry, fighting everything else before. That night especially.
Bugger.
But I'll have some more back at the lab.
Ooh. Lab.
Oh, we can find a forge or a foundry around, especially in Wales. Plenty of foundries in Wales.
Well, hang on a minute. All we need is a really hot fire, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is your place of work, right, Sheila? You don't live here. We could just set the place ablaze.
I fear the fire would be. I fear the fire here would be nothing more than a beacon. We have no foundry here. We have no mountains of fire. We have no way to smelt the blade.
Here, Prof. What can you do with the gunpowder from 600 rounds of ammunition?
Well, I suppose if I take one of my homemade grenades and we need to put it into a stove of some kind, and he starts sort of talking to himself.
Well, there must be one. They had a banquet.
Yes.
We do have an oven for bread.
That'll do. A kiln.
Sounds like he's got a plan.
So basically, you're going to take it to the kiln and really heat it up.
Yeah.
So, I tell you, I'll try 500 rounds of ammo. Give me something just in case the Nazis turn up.
I have no idea if this is physically possible, but
Well, I mean, the kiln in and of itself would not be hot enough. To smelt a blade. But given that we are delving into the realm of science fantasy, I'm going to say give me a weird science roll, please,
okay.
Jason, because your weird scientist brain will know whether this is or how to make this possible.
Let me just get my D12 here. 11.
11. Okay. You reckon it's possible, but you would have to try and find some way of reinforcing the kiln door, or the whole thing is just going to explode out sword as well, so that you can properly contain the heat.
Mm-hmm. We'll show you something like melting it shut would work.
It's entirely possible. Because a standard oven door is designed to be nicely, easily opened and closed. The kind of explosive force that you're attempting to do would blow it open otherwise.
If we just pile rocks in front of it, or maybe knock over one of the pillars and use some bit of that.
Plenty of marble. You just need something that will, reinforce the door so it doesn't.
Yeah. What's this
fly off
column
it.
made of?
Marble.
I borrowed a sword a second. I've got an idea.
Don't get too attached to it.
They hand you the sword.
I'm sorry, I think I cut out there.
Yeah, they hand you the sword.
All right, I'm going to hack at this marble column. I mean, if the sword breaks, it breaks. And if it don't, well, we get a chunk of marble.
Just, this is for no other reason than to see whether or not you actually drop it as you swing. Give me a fighting roll.
And then it'd be a 10.
Yeah. To be honest, you were hitting this thing as long as you didn't roll snake eyes. I just wanted to see whether the silly of you getting it and going they're dropping out your hands. It goes right the way through the marble without so much as a blemish in the blade.
Ah, sweet. How big a block do you want, Prof?
One that's heavy enough to barricade the door. After I've put everything in it.
All right, you're going to have to show me how big you mean, because, like, I haven't got a clue.
Well, heavy.
I'll give it
Difficult
3
to
or 4
lift.
feet then. 3 or 4 feet length.
Right then. I chop up 3 or 4 feet higher than the first blow, probably lower, actually, than the first blow.
Yeah.
Then
Just
heave it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask for a second fighting roll. I just that'd be funny.
I'm going to do it anyway. It's another 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Feeling good about it.
Take the marble block out. Yeah. Guess we'll have to roll it. It's a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to
Can I
roll with it.
ask? This bread oven, has it got like a chimney of some kind in
Yes.
it? Fantastic. Because I'd be a bit stuck if there wasn't. So I say, okay, lay the sword in the oven and then barricade it.
Right,
Okay.
toss it in, roll the marble into place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want any of this ammo?
Yes, that comes next.
All right then.
So I start. I'm assuming that the bullets, I can take the bullets off
Yeah.
and put the gunpowder, right? So I put the gunpowder into the chimney. La la la.
This will take some time. We've all got to dismantle 500 rounds.
Yeah.
It's not even all of it.
And
Well, the heroes always had almost unlimited ammo. You know, those.
I track my ammo use, I'll have you know.
and eventually, when we've done that, I get some tongs out, so I can hold the conical flask at a distance.
Okay.
Safety goggles on and say, always important.
Yes.
I pour
What's
the
important?
contents. I pour the contents in to the chimney.
Okay. Right. I need you to make me an agility check for me, please, Professor. Because the moment this chemical reacts with the gunpowder, boom, and the whole sort of thing shakes.
Yep, that's why I'm holding it at a distance. But, we'll see. Oh, that's a 5.
Yep. Yep. You kind of and sort of get yourself a nice discreet distance. You sort of timed yourself well.
Yes.
Even with, I mean, the you do see the door sort of go. I mean, the marble, the sort of marble column that you put on there has held it, but it does kind of go. What? And you're like, oh my god! Even with that marble, it almost burst open. Such was the force of the explosion. Needless to say, they're not going to be cooking any bread in that anytime this century.
Yeah.
How long do you think we've got to leave it, Prof, before you know it's worked?
You know, you're definitely overcooked.
If you're gonna try and open the door, Jake, I sort of stop you and say, "Be careful! It will be toxic fumes."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hate to point it to you because, like, I know I'm not the smartest person in the room or anything, but if there's toxic fumes, do you think maybe we should cover the chimney up?
Yes.
I won't then starve it of oxygen.
Yeah.
So shouldn't we get the hell out of the room?
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I think we discussed this too long already.
Put it this way: if the sword is intact and anyone tries to get near it, they'll die. We've set up the perfect trap.
So you mean we've got no way of knowing?
It's Schrodinger's sword.
Yes, we have. Those shielders can summon it again.
It's Schrodinger's sword.
And if they managed to summon it, then it didn't work. But if it no longer exists, then they can't summon it. Shielders, do your trick.
Okay. Small bits of metal, almost powdery in some cases, land on the floor. There is some gaseous fumes coming off this bits of metal. Which, whilst it doesn't seem to be affecting them, I'd like each of you to make a vigor check, please.
Uh-oh.
I think I'll spend a penny.
5.
Did I use one already?
Yes,
yeah,
to make
it's
a
a
soul
soak roll. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Do I
That
use
was
the
going to be a
penny?
6. It fell off the table. Oh, all right. I'll spend my last penny.
I'm gonna be sensible and say I got a 5.
Yeah, I finally got a 5. Took a few
Right.
goes.
You're all kind of going. I mean, it's fairly noxious. It's like a bad egg that's gone off. I mean, it's really rather potent.
Well, it's a courtyard, so it should dissipate in a moment, right?
Yeah.
Guess it did the trick then. Now, please don't make another one.
Perhaps in time, Briton will need a new light. Though perhaps it may take a form other than a weapon.
Confetti for a wedding.
Absolutely not. No. The blade has been destroyed. Your task is complete. You may depart with our grateful thanks.
Well, they've taken it rather well, haven't they?
They bow and they disappear.
Gosh, we see if their banquet's still there. I'm bloody parched.
You head back. All the rooms are now empty.
Oh.
Should have made some bread before we blew the kiln up.
Well, we are in Wales, there'll be plenty of fish.
Well, I might be able to find something on the plane when we get back there.
I say fish and chips.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
And for those people viewing from Scotland, yes, fish and chips is the same as a fish supper. And I think at this point we'll call a little break so that certain cigarette smokers can imbibe.
I was fine, but I do need a wee. So,
Okay.
you know.
Okay, that's a different kind of.
as well now because you know you've done some suggestive selling on me.
Oh, what can I do? I'm good at my job.
So it's not a nice thing to do to an addict. You know what I'm saying? All right. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yep. I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. We'll be back in a few seconds. And if you have been enjoying this game, I will be running another game at some point. But next up for this little troop, on the Pair of Geeks 2 channel coming soon, will be Jason running a Call of Cthulhu scenario. So we're all looking forward to that.
Yes, I believe it's modern day one, isn't it?
Yes. So that will be next. That will be on the Pair of Geeks 2 channel. If you look through the list of channels I'm subscribed to, you will see Pair of Geeks 2, and you'll be able to quite happily subscribe to both Pair of Geeks and Pair of Geeks 2, and then you'll be able to see all those live plays on Pair of Geeks 2. So we've pretty much just got the denouement, a little bit of a scene and the denouement, and that's pretty much us. Bit of a prologue, epilogue. I had thought the skeleton fight would take a little longer, but those plans got blown.
So I thought the prof would be throwing a hand grenade, so I thought I might want to save my move until after he'd blown his roll.
Oh, God!
I know he quite often doesn't get on with throwing.
Well, it has to be said, usually it's you and Becky cutting swaths through them. Jason's professor hasn't had much of a moment.
Well, he came up with the goods this time.
He did. He did. Because once you do a grenade, which just does damage to everyone within that template, then, you know, it was just skeleton become dust.
Yeah.
I was going to be really nasty and use the skeletons from Shinetar. Because the skeletons from Shinetar take half damage from edged weapons. You've got to use a blunt.
Oh, okay.
if you use an edged weapon or even a pointed weapon like an arrow, it only does half damage.
Well, I've already got a gun anyway, so
Yeah.
that's a bit of a pointed weapon, isn't it? A bullet.
Yeah, it would be. It would have been a test for you, but the standard skeletons that are fine with that.
Sorry that took a while. I had to wait to go to the loo, and when I did eventually get there, I was filled with the overwhelming notion that it would have been nice to have gone first.
Oh dear.
And for those people who do get to watch this, I have just picked up the fact that Jason is going to be running a Call of Cthulhu scenario starring us three on the Pair of Geeks 2 channel coming soon.
Yes.
So that will be next for this little happy troop. We go from hilarity to horror.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm going to be starting up the AFA game at some point. That's with me, because I'm selfish.
Okay.
A slightly different player lineup for that one. And that's also on Pog 2. You can be in it as well if you want, Phil.
Thank you very much.
You'll have to find another night that you're free. I think we were looking at doing it on the Fridays.
Oh right, okay. That's different. That's tricky for me, Fridays.
I don't know if that's still what we're going to do.
Okay.
I'd have to let you know about the Fridays, but I still want to do that. I want to be part of the playtest for that because I've been intrigued. I've been intrigued with the system since you were first talking about it. So
maybe Wednesday, don't know. You do need to get Tabletop Simulator running though.
Mm-hmm.
Tabletop Simulator works. It's just this laptop does tend to scream after a couple of hours.
You might want to get yourself a tray that you can put the laptop on.
Yeah. Right.
So you don't burn your legs off.
So saying to Phil, we've just got a bit of a scene and then the epilogue, and then that's pretty much it for this scenario. So you are back on the plane.
Woohoo!
You are
Strap in, we're going to take off.
You'll take off. I'm not going to bother with the roll because you've already. It's pretty straightforward stuff. The kind of general mist that you assume is the sort of shroud that Avalon hides within clears once you sort of enter sort of normal airspace. And you do see that there are two planes. They look like they're doing the sort of circular. They look like they're doing circuits round.
Or give them the finger as we fly past.
So what you're saying, they're looking for an island. They don't know where it is, but there's this big patch of fog just sitting there in the sea.
Well, no, I mean, you assume that you know that people can't actually see it. People can't see anything of it. I mean, there's just a patch of water. Unless you actually have permission to go, you can't actually land there. You were given permission, which is why you could see it. By your good grace and all that. Where are you heading?
back to the mainland, I suppose.
Okay. Well, just
Yes,
to Wales,
stop.
or are you heading somewhere?
Wales will do. I'm peckish.
Yeah, wherever we can land, the nearest airport we can land in.
Okay. To be honest, yeah. You find an airstrip. You'll land easily enough. You can see that one of the planes has followed you. It looks like he's preparing to land as well.
Okay. I'll let everybody know that to be ready for maybe a firefight. These Nazis again.
Swapping the drums on my gun, so I've got 50 shots.
Okay. The plane lands. It's fairly nondescript, unlike other ones where you have actually seen a sort of the cross. The Iron Cross. This
what
one.
sort of make is it? Is it a German plane or?
Yes, it is. And at this point, they get out. You see 5 people coming out. You're all experienced enough by this point. You can see that they're sort of reaching and it looks like they're getting sort of handguns out and they're heading towards your plane.
That's all right.
At this point, Jason gets a 4. You also get a 4, Becky. Phil gets a 10. And I get that. Phil first to react.
Okay, so we're going to leave the plane and take a couple of shots at these guys.
Okay. It is medium distance at this point, so -2 on the roll,
-2.
please.
Okay. So that is a. Okay, so it's a 7. So it's a 5, a 6, and an 11.
Those are the totals. Right, that's 2 hits and that's 3 hits in total. 1 of them were a raise. Give me the 2 normal hits first.
2 normal hits first, or 4 and a 7, 8. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, those 2 don't do anything. Give me the hit with the raise.
That is what's that? 6, 7, 8.
Is that with the same guy?
Yeah.
Right, he's dropped. He's dropped, and the others are firing back. Such as they can. Oh, wow. Holy shit. Oh my god. Right, so bloody hell. Just doing damage here. They all hit, by the way. They're all shooting at the plane at the moment. They're trying to... Oh, bloody hell.
That's right. It's not my plane. We just want to be nicked, isn't it?
It's one of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like we could catch the train back to London.
Right. One of them takes out. I mean, most of them are kind of taking on the wing, sort of shooting it. They look as if they're sort of trying to get one of the propellers engines. One of them succeeds quite handsomely. The propeller, that particular engine is now on fire. And Becky.
I'm gonna smash a window out from the cockpit,
Okay.
and then with multi-action, I'll empty 3 shots in the general direction of Nazis.
Okay. Remember, there is a -2 because of the distance.
Okay, so -4 in total.
Yeah.
$12, 4,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be a 1.
Okay, so that is a hit and a hit with the raise. Give me the normal hit first, please.
The normal hit does. Sorry, do I get? You don't do extra damage with the trademark weapon, do you? It's just a hit.
Just a hit.
Yeah. So first one does 7.
Okay.
And 11. So I totally supermarketed up that fucker.
Right, he's dropped. Down to 3. Jason.
Yeah, so I've by this point loaded the last of my acid into the gun, was on the plane, and say, 2 can play that game. And I fire, but just do it straight at them.
Okay, remember it's at -2.
Oh, because the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to matter, to be fair. Okay, so that's a 9.
In total?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a hit with a raise. Do an extra d6 damage.
Ooh la la. Excuse me while I just get an extra. There we go. Okay. 16 damage.
Okay. You were aiming that at one person?
I was depending, like if they were sort of close together, I'd try and sort of do a sweep.
Okay. Yeah, you take down 2 with that.
These 2 outside of the plane, and I'm in the cockpit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a new round. It's a new day. It's a new bond. And there's only 1 left. Jason with a 10. Jack for Becky. Queen for Phil. Yeah. Phil?
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot at this, the remaining guy.
Yep, he's trying to edge back, but he's still at medium range, so it's still -2. He's trying to edge back, though.
Okay. Okay, so that's a 4, 5. So that's going -2. So 3, a 2, and a 2.
No, no, and no. Becky.
All right. I'll put 3 shots into him.
Okay.
So it's -2 for the range.
Yeah.
So 10, 4, 4.
Okay, that's 2 hits and 1 hit for the raise. Give me the 2 normal hits first.
10, 14,
Then the hit for the raise.
14.
Right. He that was nearly dead, very dead, and very dead in that order. Your first shot damn near killed him.
Hey,
You're up
Captain,
to
go grab the key from that plane once we've had a spot to eat. We can fly back in that one.
That sounds like a good idea. Since they wrecked this one. This one's out of fuel anyway.
and I'm gonna roll this. Yep.
Well, surely all the debts would be owed to the Gestapo.
As you're sort of heading out of the plane, you can see that the other plane has come low, almost as if it's coming to land, but it's seen what you've just done to its comrades and it's off. He just failed his morale check. He's flown off. He's gone. He's decided, no, I don't want to die today. Ladies and gentlemen, go and have your fish and chips. Enjoy a pint of warm beer. You have saved Britain from enslavement today. But who knows what will happen tomorrow? And that, ladies and gentlemen, ends your quest for the Sword of Kings. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I will now probably have the post-match analysis. And I hope everyone has enjoyed this bit of fun. I've certainly enjoyed running it. Thank you very much to my players. Thank you everyone for watching. And as I say, the next game that is definitely happening with this particular troop of players will be on Pair of Geeks 2. You can find it in amongst my subscribed channels. Please, if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe to Pair of Geeks and Pair of Geeks 2. Lots of good content, and Pair of Geeks 2 do all the live plays. We will see you there for Jason's Call of Cthulhu game. Thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye from us.
Good night.
Bye!
I was hoping to say bye from Jupiter, but okay then. Bye from Mars.
Bye.
Oh...